Someone who is situated in complete knowledge, transcendental knowledge. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything because the spiritual master knows everything. He can tell his disciple, or he can instruct his disciple in real knowledge. So wonderful purport Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing. Nobody goes and set fire in the forest. It on its own, because of the friction of the trees, because of the wind, the forest fire takes place on its own. Nobody goes and set. But the forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusions. No one wants fire and yet it takes place and we become perplexed. So therefore, the Vedic wisdom is that one must approach a spiritual master. And Swami Srila Prabhupada, he is writing in the purport, that is the purport of this verse. Shishyaste aham shadivam tam prapannam. Because Arjunji, he has full faith that the Lord Shri Krishna can solve all the problems of his life. Lord Shri Krishna is situated, he is not situated in the absolute truth, he is the absolute truth. But a spiritual master who is also always situated in the absolute truth or in trance can solve all the problems of his disciple. So one should not therefore remain in material perplexities. Swami Srila Prabhupada is saying, and that is the verdict, that is the instruction of the scriptures, that one should not remain in material perplexities and one should approach a bona fide spiritual master to solve all the problems, to solve the purpose of human life, purpose of life. So Swami Srila Prabhupada further explains who is a man in material perplexities. Who is the man in material perplexities? It is he who does not understand the problems of life. Simple definition, Swami Srila Prabhupada. Who is a man? One who do not understands the problems of life. And in the Garg Upanishad, actually it is in the Brahana Aranyak Upanishad, it comes the definition of Brahmana and Kripana, the talk between Garg Muni. And here it comes, Yova edad aksharam gargi aviditva asmat lokat prati sakripanaha. Aksharam, without knowing about the absolute truth, Advait aviditva asmat lokat pretihi, one who quits this world without solving. So Swami Srila Prabhupada, he explains, he is a miserly man, Kripana and liberal, Brahmana. He is a miserly man who does not solve the problems of life as a human and who thus quits this world like the cats and dogs without understanding the science of self-realization. This human form of life is most valuable asset for the living entity who can utilize it for solving the problems of life. Therefore, one who does not utilize this opportunity properly is a miser. On the other hand, there is a Brahmana or he who is intelligent enough to utilize his body to solve all the problems of life. So wonderful spiritual concepts, Kripana and Brahmana. Prabhupada further writes and explains in the next paragraph. The Kripanas or miserly person waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children and other members, and on the basis of skin disease. The Kripana thinks that he is able to protect his family members from death, or the Kripana thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals who take care of children also. Being intelligent, Arjuna could understand that his affection for family members and his wish to protect them from the death were the cause of his perplexities. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still on account of miserly weakness he could not discharge the duties. He is therefore asking Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. Talks between the master and the disciples are serious. And now Arjuna want to talk very seriously before they can recognize spiritual master, Krishna. Therefore, the original spiritual master of the science of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. How Arjuna understands the Bhagavad Gita is stated in the Gita itself, and yet foolish mundane scholars explain that one need not to submit to Krishna as a person. Mundane scholars, they explain, but to the unborn within Krishna, there is no difference between Krishna's within and without. And one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool in trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita. So, very wonderful purport and very wonderful verse. Karpanya doshopahat svabhava avrichyami tvam dharma samudha chetaha yashreya nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. So Swami Srila Prabhupada very nicely he explained about Kripana and Brahmana, and he gave the reference from the Upanishad. A person who does not solve the problems of life, who does not know, who do not have any knowledge, who do not have knowledge about the absolute truth, who do not have any knowledge how to solve the problems of life, and one who quits this world like cats and dogs. The cats and dogs, they are also living and they are always engaged in material affairs. And if a human being, if a soul after getting human form of body, which is very rare, which is very valuable asset, durlabha manushan janma, and valuable asset, tadapi adhruvam arthadam, it is very valuable arthadam. So after getting the human form of life, if one is still engaged like cats and dogs and waste all his time being overly affectionate, each one of affection is not bad, and yes, affection is natural. Everyone has affection for family, country, society, but if one is overly attached and he wastes all his time, all his life, all 24 hours of the day and all the years of his life in just living for in the material conception of life. Swami Srila Prabhupada explains material conception, my country, my family, my society, my relatives, and engages only in activities pertaining to body and bodily expansions. If one wastes all his time in activities pertaining to bodily and bodily affections and passes this world like cats and dogs, then he is a kripana, a miser person. Because he has misutilized. He was a miser. He did not utilize. He kept a miser person, he does not spend, even though if he has money, he do not spend it. He always keep that money in the locker. So we have this human form of body by great fortune. If one receives a human form of a life, that is a very great fortune, by fortune only. Bhunam janmanamante. And if one does not utilizes it, if one does not uses the material body for solving all the problems of janam, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, if one can purify one's existence, then one can solve all the problems. One can be situated in the self and Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. One can live in a state of happiness and bliss forever, eternally. And one who does not know this, and one who do not try to solve the problems of life and just passes viditva asmat loke pratihi, one who passes this world like cats and dogs, one who dies like cats and dogs without utilizing this human form of life for solving the problems of life, he is a miser, a kripana. And on the other hand, one who knows that this human body can award liberation, can award salvation, one can solve all the problems of life by engaging into spiritual activities. One can, by engaging in devotional service, one can solve all the problems, Janam Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, all the problems of human life, all the problems of life. Death, the biggest problem. Old age, diseases, and other various other problems, Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, they are like forest fire, always blazing. And it is very, very difficult to solve, to extinguish such forest fire. So in this world, nobody finds peace. One is always perplexed by some misery or other, by some suffering or other suffering. But one who do not inquire, one who does not approaches a spiritual master, he is wasting his life and is mentioned as Kripana. And Swami Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, Kripana thinks that he will be able to protect his family members. But can anyone save anybody from the cruel hands of death? So one thinks he will be able to save his family members, his riches, his relatives, his friend, his bank balance. Swami Srila Prabhupada always mention, can save one from death. No, one day no one can save you from death. And when it will come, Swami Srila Prabhupada always explained. Many people, they ask doctors that take all the money what I have and just award me few more years or add few more years to my life. And no, doctor, nobody can do that when death comes. So a Kripana, miserly man, he thinks that he will be able to protect his family members and relatives, or his relatives and friends will protect, and he just forgetting, he don't want to even think of the real problems of life, death and disease and old age, and he just want to engage in material activities, conception of mind, body, material conception of life, and engage in material activities for material temporary sense enjoyment, and thus one quits the world like cats and dogs and again take birth in various other species and continue to suffer like that with the real problems of life, birth and death, old age and disease. And Arjunji could understand this. Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, his affection for his family members and his wish to protect them from death were the cause of his perplexities. Actually, death was awaiting by executing his duty. Arjunji, if Arjunji executes his duty, then truly speaking, and a Kshatriya should execute. So death was awaiting for all his family members, but he is thinking that he can protect and he is trying to protect them, and that is the cause of his perplexities. They are already killed because they have taken up to the path of a religion. They are already killed. They will degrade themselves. If Arjunji will not kill them, they will degrade themselves to the lower species in their next life, and very soon the death will separate all of them. Then where will be those brothers and fathers and grandfathers and friends and other relatives? But Arjunji is worrying so much about them because of his bodily relationships with them and his affection, material affection for them. So, and Arjunji, because he can understand that his duty, could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still on account of his miserly weakness he could not discharge the duties. So he finally asking Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme spiritual master, to make a definite solution. Nishchitam Bruhitanme, please tell me of a definite solution. So now Arjunji, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tam Prapannam. And Swami Srila Prabhupada, he writes in the purport, now Arjunji want to stop all friendly talks. Because Lord Sri Krishna is his friend, So now he want to stop his friendly talks because his mind is fully perplexed, is fully disturbed, and he has lost all composure. I have lost all composure because of weakness, and I'm confused about my duty. So in such a situation of confusions, each one of us, it behooves, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, one to approach a bona fide spiritual master. So Arjunji, understanding well that he cannot come out of his situation or his problem, his mental confusion on his own, so he takes shelter of the Supreme Spiritual Master and ask him to make a definite solution. Nishchitam bruhi tanme shadimam, please tell me. And he want to engage in serious talks, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, because the talks between master and the disciple are serious, and now Arjunji want very seriously before the recognized. And now Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. So Arjunji has recognized Lord Sri Krishna as his spiritual master, and the scriptures are asking, scriptures are insisting that each one of us should approach a spiritual master and surrenders unto him. And that is the way Swami Srila Prabhupada explains to get the real knowledge. And that is the way to surrender. And surrender means what he says you have to do. So Arjunji is surrendering to Lord Sri Krishna, and if Lord Sri Krishna says, and of course he will say to fight, then surrendered soul must obey the orders of his master. And Arjunji here, he is accepting Lord Sri Krishna as his spiritual master or guru, and he is surrendering in his words. He says, Shishyaste ham sadimam tam prapannam. That means he has faith in the words of his spiritual master, in the instructions of his spiritual master, and whatever he will order, he is ready to execute. He has accepted and he is ready to execute. And Swami Srila Prabhupada also mentions, yet foolish mundane scholars explains that one need not submit to Krishna as a person. There are many mundane scholars who do not know about the Bhagwan aspect, Brahma Paramatma Bhagwan aspect of the Supreme, and they do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. And they say that one need not to submit to Krishna as a person, but to the unborn within Krishna. As if Krishna has accepted a material body or a material life. No, Krishna is always situated in absolute truth. Krishna is absolute truth, and he is. There is no difference. Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, there is no difference between Krishna's within and without. Because we are material souls, Achyuta, Lord Sri Krishna, Arjunji addressed Lord Sri Krishna as Achyuta, one who never falls down. So he is not like ordinary, like us, like other ordinary human beings who have fallen to this world because of their desires to lord it over the material nature. Iksha Dvesha Samuthena. Lord Sri Krishna do not fall. Achyuta, that's why he is always referred to Achyuta as Achyuta, one who never falls down. But still there are scholars who say that one should not submit to Lord Sri Krishna, not knowing that Krishna is the absolute truth himself. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavan is the last word in God realization. Vadanti tat vidas tatvam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti shabdate. So Bhagavan is the last word. So those who do not know, or those who have knowledge only about the Brahman feature of the Supreme, or the Paramatma feature of the Supreme, they say that one need not submit to the Krishna as a person, but to the unborn within Krishna. So, Swami Srila Prabhupada rejects that, and one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. So one who do not accept Lord Shri Krishna, one who do not accept Lord Shri Krishna as the supreme person, supreme being or supreme authority, Swami Srila Prabhupada mentions, Krishna is therefore the original spiritual master of the science of Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding Gita. How Arjuna understands the Bhagavad Gita is stated in the Gita itself. Shishyasteham sadimam tam prapannam. And Krishna is the original spiritual master. Vande Krishnam Jagat Guru. So one who do not understand this, he is the greatest fool, Swami Srila Prabhupada, trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. So if one do not accept this fact that Krishna is the supreme absolute truth and is the supreme spiritual master, in the Srimad Bhagavatam it comes, Tene Brahma Hirdayadya Kabaye, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He is the original supreme spiritual master, the supreme absolute truth, and if one do not accept that fact, and if one do not take shelter of Krishna as a person or submit to Krishna as a person, then it is very difficult for one to understand the real concepts of Bhagavad Gita. In Tattvataha, if one want to understand Bhagavad Gita or this Upadesha in truth, in reality, then one should submit to the person Krishna as Arjunji did. Shishyasteham shadimam tam prapannam. So wonderful verse. Two verses we read, 6th and 7th, and very wonderful purports, very wonderful concepts. So we'll take up a few more verses in our next session. So till then I would like to stop here, and may Lord Shri Krishna bless all of us. May we also submit ourselves at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, and may we be blessed with the transcendental knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, so that we can also advance on the path of spiritual realization, self-realization and God realization, and our human life we can become really Brahmana and utilize our human body for solving the problems of our life, birth, death, old age, disease, real problems of life. So with this I would like to stop here. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Shro Shishma Swangi Sabai Chadnar Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. All glories to Abhay Chadnar Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Bhagavad Gita. All glories to Lord Chaitanya. All glories to Holy Name. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.